My relationship with money now is better than ever.
Okay.
I understand it more. I don't understand it a ton, but yeah, I feel like I understand it a lot better now that I've started the company, because if you don't understand how your money works and how it can work for you, then it's a bad recipe to start your own business.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Silicon Alley Podcast. I'm your host, William Glass. Really excited to share today's podcast with you. Am I weighing my life based on money or happiness? This episode is with Cory Johnston, who is founder and CEO of Brighteous Media. And Brighteous is a full-service video marketing company based in Alabama, which is where I'm actually originally from. And so we're going to be diving into all kinds of different topics today, talking about his relationship with money and how that's changed as an entrepreneur, breaking out of the 9-to-5, what was his breaking point and his approach to starting his business, and staying curious. So what are some of the key things that you need to be able to do to continue to learn and grow as an entrepreneur and think about the future? So really excited to share today's podcast with you, and hope you all enjoy.
You got no time to waste, but still you hesitate. Caught in a circle saying, I'll never leave this place. Some words got you searching for the bright side over and over until you're looking on the inside. Yeah. One life, there's a feeling that you can't find, holding a hope and it'll only keep you on the outside.
All right, so I'm here with Cory Johnston, who is a longtime friend of mine. We went to school together, played soccer, grew up together. And Cory, you do some pretty interesting things nowadays.
That's right, man. Got a media business, started that about 3 years ago. It's kind of a work in progress. We're growing every year, it seems like. It's been fun.
That's awesome, yeah.
I'm kind of honored to be the first guest here on your podcast here. So I know you got some cool things going on, part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't think of a better first guest to have and kick it off with the podcast, and excited to dive into some stuff today. So before we jump in, give me a quick little bio background. Who are you? How do you describe yourself?
Of course. I went to school for mechanical engineering at UA. I got a job right out of college that I thought I liked. I liked the paycheck for sure. I was getting paid like $60,000 a year. So that's really the only thing I looked at was the paycheck. The actual job itself was fun, probably 20% of the time, but I would get home, I would be super depressed until I looked at the paycheck. And I kind of had a mindset shift during that time working as an engineer of like, if I keep down this path, I'm going to be miserable. Am I weighing my life based on money, or am I weighing it based on being happy? Some people just kind of pick either or, and that's kind of how society is treating the way that finding a job is. It's like, my dad was a military guy, and he would always tell me, like, work is never fun. That's why it's called work. I don't know, maybe our generation, it doesn't have to be that way. He's kind of the baby boomer generation, so it's kind of interesting how you grow up. I'm 27 now, and you figure out that, man, I've got a lot of stuff from my parents that you didn't really realize when you were 16, growing up to 20. So some of that's good, some of that's bad. They're very conservative when it comes to money. I transitioned into my life now. They save a lot. I tend to save a lot now. Yeah, going back to your question of the early career, it was hard, man. I was getting money. I hated it.
Well, what made you pick mechanical engineering then to start with? Like,
man,
why?
It was honestly, I didn't like writing papers, man.
Okay.
I was okay at math, so I thought, you know what? I don't want to crunch numbers all day like an accountant. Like, you really have to like numbers to do all that. I wanted to be a little more creative in that sense, so that's why I chose engineering.
Okay.
I thought, let's build some stuff. I always like to build stuff, kind of break them down, figure out how they work, and then build it either something better based off of old past technology. And that's kind of what I was doing with manufacturing engineering, was building machines that would take other people's job. And I know that manufacturing and technology is going into automation. Like Andrew Yang, 2020, his whole deal about that. But I guess I didn't want to be directly a part of taking other people's jobs, because in meetings we would say, all right, how many heads can we take out next month? And I'm thinking, like, who are we? Like, that's a grandma trying to pay for her kid's college, not just like, a head out on the factory floor. So I was actively looking for something else. And instead of jumping from engineering job to engineering job, I just wanted to say, like, let's flip this on its head and let's do something I enjoy rather than chasing the paycheck. And hopefully the paycheck kind of comes secondary, not the first thing you go after. And I think that's what I would tell anyone coming out of college right now is, that big number on that offer letter is nice, but if you hadn't done it, or if you hadn't shadowed, or if your parents hadn't done it, do you really want to go down that path? And if so, try and figure out what you want to do. And it's easier said than done, obviously. But in college, it's like they just give you books. They don't actually, unless you're actively interning and stuff, which I hope that transition changes. They just shove you knowledge, and they kind of don't teach you how to think for yourself.
Yeah. Going back, you got into engineering and you wanted to do engineering because it was creative and creating things. And then when you got to the job, you were destroying jobs. Not that you weren't creating, but it wasn't the type of, it sounds like, creativity and invention that you wanted to really get into.
I mean, it was creative to the sense of they would give me a prompt, or they would say, hey, we need to build this. Because I was doing automotive parts, so they would say, let's build this mirror a little quicker. So it was like, okay, being creative is like, there's different aspects of it where let's just think of an idea and then do it. Or you're getting something from your boss and saying, let's do it this way, and be creative only halfway. So it was stifling the creativity. Okay. Because, I mean, it was a big company, so obviously they couldn't just let people go free reign and whatever the heck they wanted to. Yeah. But it's like it's the opposite of a startup. You get so much innovation in a startup because the founder might say, we have this main idea, but you can do this in many different ways. We're going to let you figure that out. We're not going to stifle you. It's kind of like bringing in new people that have no knowledge whatsoever. It's kind of an asset because they don't have a predisposition of how to do something. They can bring in new ideas, and that's what I was looking for. I wasn't getting that in engineering.
Interesting.
And that was just, obviously there's different types of engineering. I was out in the boonies, and I kind of figured that if I wanted to stick down this path, I would be out in the boonies for a while. Like, I was out in Pell City, Alabama, and all my friends were in Birmingham, and you were in Rollins and Orlando, and then you moved to New York. The younger you are, the more you want to be closer in towards a city feel and like more people your age.
Yeah, you want to have that social life. That's important.
Exactly.
You mentioned earlier that Dad was in the military and learned some things from them. How do you think that affected your decision making when you were going into college and choosing a career and getting started?
Yeah, I think it affected it a lot because they helped me out with school. I got scholarships, so I really wanted to please my dad and my mom. My mom's a naive one, my dad's the hard ass. So it was kind of like both sides of the coin. Yeah. Like, you didn't want to piss your dad off because, like I said, he was military, so he was very strict as far as that. And my mom would just I think I got in trouble with the law one time and I had to tell her, and she just cried her eyes out, and it made me feel terrible. So it's kind of pleasing them. Yeah. If you live your life like that, it's a bad way to live, but you don't really know that when you're young.
Sure.
You just don't want to see your parents mad, or even your friends. Like, you don't want to disappoint your friends or your wife or whoever it may be. But if that's your main go-to, then you really start to lose self-worth and what you're here on this earth for. And that might be getting a little too far in depth, but their way they taught me as far as finances and treating others as you want to be treated is really stuck with me. They weren't very entrepreneurial, quite the opposite. My dad, military.
Very, here's the next.
Yeah, exactly. It's very
structured, and
by the time you're an officer, they kind of know, all right, in 2 years you'll become this. And being an entrepreneur or starting your own business, you don't know where you're going to be in a year. And
next week.
Exactly. This is all right, Let's check, see if I can actually make it to next week.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, let's start to get into that. You walked through your feeling, how that kind of built up. What actually was the straw? How did you end up making that decision? I think that's one thing that we don't really talk a lot about, but there's maybe a moment or a series of moments that lead up to that decision. So I'd like to hear what that was like for you.
Yeah, it really was, man, I took a trip. I went to Bali, and I was fortunate enough to have like a week off. I was on the plane, and I was packing up, and I was just like loving the fact that I didn't have to go back to work. I was like, all right, first off, that's a bad move. I heard a phrase once, why are you so excited about taking a vacation from work? Why don't you make your life good enough to where you don't have to take a vacation?
Okay.
That was something that kept going through my head. And I was in this other world in Indonesia, and I was thinking, there's billions of people on this planet, and like they can literally do anything. It really was. It's never like a day that you're just like you wake up and I'm quitting.
Yeah.
You know, it's unless something happens at your job or in your life, like maybe you get terminal cancer or something terrible or something good.
Yeah.
Like you have a child. Unless it's like that, it's I don't think it's never like a day or like a sudden moment. It's kind of a gradual feeling towards either doing something else. And for me, it was, I looked and I said, what did I like to do that I would lose track of time with? Whether it was like playing guitar, or for me, it was creating videos. The first iPhone I got had a video feature on it, and I would just take videos of everything in college. And then I would take them back to my computer and edit them down and show them to my friends, and they would love it. I was like, okay, this is cool. Yeah. But I didn't think anything of it at the time. So I think I bought a camera one day, and I was just like, all right, how can I make money doing this so I can like switch? Because when you're pushed to that edge, it's like, how can I replenish the money I'm making while also doing something that I enjoy? Yeah. For me, it was, I bought a camera, and I figured half of my friends are getting married, so let's start wedding videos. So I'd do free wedding videos for them just to like build up my confidence. And then I started getting, on the weekends, I would work Monday through Friday in engineering, and then on the weekends I do wedding videos. And I kept thinking, man, like I'm getting more money through wedding videos, and it's way more fun. And then I just kind of dumped ship from there. I was like, this is something that I would want to do in the future. And it was scary because you go from steady income to not really knowing. You're putting more of your investment into yourself rather than someone else, like a big corporation or company, because people like to do the 9-to-5s because it's security and it's benefits. Yeah. But
the path too, right?
Yeah. It's financial security, but is it actually like security for yourself? Because you're basically spending time building someone else's dream. Yeah. Is the way I think of it. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, if everyone thought that way, everyone had their own business. Well, I don't know. Maybe it might be a good thing. Who knows? Yeah. But I think it goes back how school teaches you. It's like sit in this cubicle for 8 hours a day. But yeah, to go back to the question, I think it was a gradual increase of like being not happy at work is what it was. Having the time on weekends to like do something you enjoy and to actually profit off that was a blessing for me, because it wasn't just like I quit and then now I'm stuck with no cash flow, nothing coming in. That made it easier for me. And coming back from vacation, it was like, what am I really doing? Now I have to wait another 6 months to go vacation again? Like, this is going to be my life for the next 40 years. It's like, work 6 months, take 2 weeks off. Or work a year, mostly take 2 weeks off. Yeah. I'm thinking,
it's not the way you envision your life. That's not what you want to do. It was gradual. What was it like when how'd you turn in your notice? Like, tell me that. What was the conversation with your boss or friends? What was that? Not something that's always talked about when you make that move to entrepreneurship, but that can be scary and daunting to do that.
I kept it to myself, actually, because if I told my parents, they would have talked me out of it. If I told my girlfriend, I think she would have talked me out of it, and she brings that up to me every day. Like, you didn't tell me before. But I was like, whatever.
So that may or may not be a best practice.
It may or may not, but I mean, you got to make decisions for yourself. Like some of the times, obviously. Yeah. If you did that, it doesn't turn out well if you just do that, but when it comes to 8 hours of your day, which is like, 40% of your life you spend at work. If it comes down to that, then you need to make the decision for yourself.
Absolutely.
And I called my boss when I got back from Bali, and I was like, hey, look, I really don't think that this is going to work out for me, and I want to move back to Birmingham. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, honestly, so I didn't tell him like I had anything set up, and he just said, I knew they were going to hire someone like 2 weeks later. So
Yeah.
I was like, look, I'll stick around for 2-3 weeks, train somebody else. Because it was that culture of just turnover,
Churn and burn. Yeah.
I mean, it was Honda, for God's sake. So it was like, I mean, they'll just go online on Indeed and find somebody in a couple weeks. So I didn't feel bad for them, but
yeah,
it's just
okay.
I was told, don't flip flop around or don't quit jobs too quickly. I think it's complete opposite. I think you can decide whether you like to do this or not very quickly. 6 months to a year, you'll know your boss by then. You'll know what your day to day is, and you'll know the stair step to get to where you want to be, whether it's a manager or the owner of the company. So if you get into somewhere and I don't really want to be my boss, or I don't want to be the owner of this company, or I don't even want to do this aspect of whatever it may be, then get out quick, because you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
And I think there's a switch in our generation of just trying different things that shouldn't be looked down upon. It shouldn't, because obviously employers want 5 years experience in accounting or whatever it may be, and they don't want the jack of all trades kind of guy or girl. I think that has a huge value in society now.
Well, I think it also depends on your job, right? Like,
exactly.
You don't want a jack of all trades to be your surgeon and the operating room. Yeah. That you kind of have to pick. And engineering, I would assume, is similar to that, right? You probably need to like go deep into a field or.
Yeah, and I guess I'm basing it off like what I'm doing now, business going and all the aspects of it. It's given me freedom to figure out like what I like to do and what I'm good at and what I'm bad at, and kind of going from there.
So actually, I wanted to pivot into what you're doing now. So tell me a little bit about Brighteous, what the business is exactly, and maybe a little bit about the early days. So you've been running the business now for almost 2 years now?
Yeah, we started
since you jumped full time, right?
Yeah. We started the company in 2017.
Okay.
We were first doing, so it was me, a camera, a stabilizer, which is a thing that keeps the camera still. It's a full service marketing company. We're strictly doing video right now.
Okay.
We market and help sell homes for real estate agents and agencies. That's kind of our bread and butter. And then it's evolved into marketing travel and tourism for chambers of commerces throughout the Southeast.
Okay.
And I would say it's lifestyle market, because you're trying to sell a lifestyle, whether it's a real estate or a home, or you're trying to sell a vacation. What we'll do is we'll go to these small towns, take some cool videos of the town, whether it be restaurants, the events happening in the area. We'll go for like a weekend, come back, edit the video down into cool hype video type of thing, send it off to the client. And it's been good, because video is slowly taking up. I mean, we're videoing this because we can post it on so many platforms. And I think businesses now are starting to take their budget from copy, papers, all the old school stuff, and and especially chambers of commerce is down here in Alabama, where they are on the back end of the curve, I would say. So they're slowly just going all into digital, and all that really is just digital marketing, SEO type stuff, and then video marketing, and that's what we specialize in. And it's starting to grow a little more than what I can handle, but we're starting to hire.
It's a good problem to have.
Exactly, yeah. It hasn't been easy, but it's been fun. So like that fun aspect, it can push you through a lot of things.
Yeah.
So if it's hard for you, you're gonna stay up till 2 a.m. because it's it's fun, and like you send it to the client, and they're gonna be happy.
Yeah.
If you can get some appreciation for what you do, like on a daily basis, then don't take that for granted, basically, because a lot of people, they'll do their job and they'll walk out the door and no one ever like, hey, thanks for, no one gives them the appreciation that they need.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do need that, whether it's verbal or, financial incentives.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's huge. And your business operates a lot on referrals too, right? And you keep getting those and keeps growing and growing. So obviously that appreciation goes beyond words and those actions. So
yeah, and that's the cool thing is like we market for other people, but that's marketing for us as well. Working in the business is easy because you know what it needs to be. You know what needs to be done for the most part. But I'm trying to transition myself into working like on the business. So whether it be hiring people or figuring out what the company needs, and it's 4 to 5 people, so it's not a huge company yet.
So what was the biggest adjustment for you? Going from
9 to 5
to Brighteous.
Really, it was a mindset about finances. Obviously, it's scary to go from $3,000 check, whether I went to work or not, because I was on salary, to, all right, well, now my finances are directly correlated to the hours I put in. Okay, so like if I get 3 jobs or 3 videos done this week, well, I could get $3,000 or whatever it may be. Or I could work all week and get 5 videos done and then get more money. So it was like transitioning my mind from production based, not hourly, so you're not getting paid by the time that you put in, but you're getting paid by the value that you create.
Okay.
And I think that's a huge mind shift for some people. Like people that work off commission, they either love it or they hate it, because they're either good at what they do and they're getting paid by production that they create, or they hate it because they're getting paid by the production that they create, and they're not
creating anything. Yeah.
And then the people that want security are like, well, I can go into work and dick around for 8 hours and still get paid 8 hours of work.
Yeah.
I mean, it only lasts for so long. That was the shift that I had to do in my head, and it comes quick. If you're not creating value for someone, you're not getting that return back. So it hits your bank account, and then you're like, whoa. This needs to change. So that was the mindset.
The mindset shift.
Mindset shift, yeah.
So that mindset focusing on the value you create production. Doesn't matter if it takes you an hour to put together the sick video or if it takes you a week. At the end of the day, and that's where the business part comes in, right? And that's why you're looking to hire people to try to figure out how you can.
Exactly, and that's also a shift as well. It's like you want to do it all yourself at first, and sometimes that's good. Like you need to know what it takes to do that. And then at some point, if you want to scale, you've got to figure out who can do it better than you.
Yeah.
And you need to find those people. How to hire people that are smarter than you, that obviously won't go out and do it on their own, but maybe so. Like, why not? Like, it's train them so that they. What's the word yet?
Well, there's the meme or cartoon where it's like, hey, the CFO asks, why are we spending so much money on training these people? Like, they're just going to leave. And it's like, well, what if we don't train them and they stay? But I guess more of the inverse of
or have people on your team or around you even that are smarter than you. Like, you want to be kind of the dumbest guy in the room, I would say. Because if you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to be in another room, basically.
Yeah.
Unless you.
I like that. I like that a lot. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you get in another room.
Exactly. I mean, if you want to grow.
Well, let's so why don't we talk about a little bit about the money? What's your relationship with money?
My relationship with money now is better than ever.
Okay.
I understand it more. I don't understand it a ton, but yeah, I feel like I understand it a lot better now that I've started the company, because if you don't understand how your money works and how it can work for you, then it's a bad recipe to start your own business.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
In the past, I just looked at my bank account, hopefully, having more than what I did the previous month.
Yeah.
And if I did, I might spend a little more. But I've always been a saver, and in that aspect, if I didn't have a certain amount in my nest egg, I should say, then I kind of had anxiety.
Okay.
So I think that was a blessing that my parents put forth on me, because they were like Dave Ramsey heavy, no credit type of deal.
Yeah.
And I didn't have credit until 23, so I was like way behind the 8 ball there.
I don't think that's uncommon. So I've talked to a lot of people where that's the case, like our generation. I didn't get a credit card until 2021 or something like that, because it was like, that's bad. We grew up with the recession, the big 2008 financial crisis. So people we saw that. People use their houses as ATM.
Yeah. And it bit them in the butt, and they didn't want to pass that on to their kids. I didn't even correlate that, but that's a good point, because you're obviously going to hopefully teach your kids your mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's probably why we don't have credit. But I mean, it sets you up. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because you obviously don't want to get in debt right off the bat. But I mean, try and get a house, try and get a car, try and get anything without a little credit.
It's tough, yeah.
that's the relationship with money now that I have is that debt is not always a bad thing. Some people think that being in debt is just terrible. I mean, if you're in student loan debt, which most of our generation is, it's like you went to school investing on yourself to pay it back. If you're in credit card debt, you're buying stuff that doesn't return your own, like there's no cash on cash return.
Yeah.
You're buying furniture at Rent-A-Center and you're paying like 5%. Well, that furniture is not going to make you money.
Yeah.
So I think that's, my relationship with money has changed. Like everything I buy now, can it produce cash in the future?
Yeah.
Type of deal. Not everything. I mean, some things just can't, and some things you need.
But it's a tool now. Money is a tool to help grow your business, invest in yourself. Like, it's not just, hey, like I can trade this to go get this nice laptop or whatever else.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a tool to get you where you want to go. It's not the end all be all, but it is freedom. And if you value freedom and your time, then money is freedom, basically.
Tell me about Brighteous. What is it like? How much does an entrepreneur video marketing, full service marketing company make? Like, what is that? What are you guys doing?
I mean, we don't make near as much as you would think, but we started giving things out for free. Like,
okay.
So the very beginning, it was just to build up client base. It was, a lot of time and no money.
Yeah.
So that was a hard point, but we're at the point now where, we can thankfully hire people, and we're getting enough business, and it's partly due to the economy being so nice right now.
Yeah.
We made $30,000 in the last quarter. And that's 3 times as much as we made the first year. So it's hopefully growing, but not too quick.
Yeah.
Because I think growing quickly is can bite people in the butt.
Yeah.
If you grow and you hire 10 people and then you can't pay their salary, or they end up leaving, or then it's a bad recipe. But
first off, that's huge, man. Congrats. Like, going from what you did in a whole year and a quarter is absolutely phenomenal. Like that's scaling up a business. So that's huge.
Yeah. We're just constantly investing into the business. So, I mean, I'm not taking a cut at all. Cause I mean, there's no reason to. If you have a nice nest egg, it's just easier to make business decisions if you're not relying on the business the first couple of years to pay your salary.
Yeah.
And I think that's crucial. And that just goes back to the relationship with money. If you can save and everything coming in doesn't go out, or if on top of that, if you can save and invest some, knowing that, in 5 years you can take it out and hopefully it makes some interest or something, then that'll help you out tremendously. If you want to jump ship.
That's awesome.
Onto your own business or create something, because
it gives you flexibility.
Yeah, nowadays it's so easy to, like, everyone with their Shopify account. I mean, it's just so easy to, like, see people doing it and say, yeah, like, that's easy. Yeah, look how much money they're making. But I mean, for the anomalies and the special cases, that's true. Like, some people do just make it big, but I think for the most of us, it's grinding, doing free stuff, doing stuff that is not gonna pay off quickly, but in the long run, it'll pay off tremendously. Because first of all, you're doing what you like, you're talking about what you like, and I think that's infectious. And it'll,
absolutely. It's a long-term play, right? That's why you got into this, right? I didn't want to be an engineer for 40 years, and now move into this, something that I enjoy, and you're able to do that. So your savings sounds like allows you to have that safety net. You also have been generating some income on the weekends, and those two pieces allowed you to say, okay, I think I can do this, and
that, I mean,
make that pivot.
Some people, it might take longer than others to save up. But I think that's step one.
Yeah.
And you might be working I was working $7 to $8 an hour jobs, in high school, and that saved up to get to college, to get to, so it's just process. I mean, it's just steps to get to where you want.
Absolutely.
It might take some people longer, but hey,
Yeah.
as long as you're there. Like
Did
what?
she-
Oprah started when she was like 40, and
Did she? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
yeah, all these like entrepreneurs that they don't start when they're super young. So it's like you got time.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time to just make things. And
The Mark Zuckerbergs are the exception versus the rule when it comes to entrepreneurship.
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, we idolize the
The young guy that made
20-year-old,
it huge.
the college dropout who
Yeah.
built a huge company. So what
Yeah.
about a future state? Do you have certain goals for your business, or how do you think about like planning and growing, and what does that look like?
I mean, we've got some set goals that don't change, and then we've got other targets that kind of change as we go along. I think our goal for this year and for next year is just to get a community of people that are passionate about creating content and marketing, either real estate places. And I think that's our niche right now is real estate, because I enjoy facets of real estate beyond marketing, and I want to keep into that.
Yeah.
But I also like the travel portion, because our generation and the baby boomers who are retired, everyone wants to travel, and I like promoting the small towns that need it, that need the travel income and the tourism. So I think our goal now is just to create, like I said, a community of videographers, photographers, bloggers, to just create content for those clients.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about real estate. I know that you and I have been going at it in terms of that, but tell me a little bit about that. Like you stumbled into real estate through some.
I knew nothing about real estate. My parents had bought a house and they knew nothing, so I was like a virgin when it came to real estate. I got into it because I had a camera and figured, maybe I could market some houses. Then I would go around the houses and say, all right, I'm talking to the realtor. She's making, or he or she's making 6% of what the house sells for. So I would talk to them, and as I was talking to them, I was thinking, well, yeah, like, you've got something good here.
Yeah.
So I figured, all right, I might be in the right industry, but in the wrong facet of it. And I enjoy it, marketing it more than anything. But there's aspects of it that are way bigger than that. And that kind of opened up Pandora's box for me, just talking with the realtors that we were working for. And then I got connected to a buddy of mine who I'd met at church, and he was a real estate guy. He was a developer for many years, and he's kind of like my real estate mentor, spiritual mentor, everything. Like, getting a mentor this might be off topic, but get you a mentor, like whether it's somebody your age, somebody older than you that you want to emulate. But that's huge when it comes to growing as a person and in your career. Yeah. But anyway, there's just so many avenues to create passive income through real estate that intrigued me. I went from having a 401k at 9-to-5 job to now thinking, well, I don't really have retirement.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm thinking, well, maybe I could get some real estate under my belt, and that could be my retirement, So it's just that intrigued me beyond anything. And I'm just constantly learning about it.
So I want to shift quickly as we get close to the end of this. And what advice do you have for others that might be interested in leaving their 9-to-5 and starting a marketing, doing something in video, or just in general within entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I would say just try as much things that interest you as you can, and find a mentor that, that's easier said than done. Don't go to like Facebook and say, hey, can you be my mentor? But like, just create value for someone right off the bat, and then in turn they will appreciate that, and they'll want you around. And if you just get under someone's wing that you want to be like or emulate, or just do what they do or have done, that's huge. So I would say try a bunch of things and see
Yeah.
if you can find a mentor.
Yeah. The way that you described it, mentorship is more of a relationship than it is a transaction. Go on
for sure.
Facebook and find one is very much like transaction versus
Exactly.
the way that you
it's
kind of stumbled in. It wasn't like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor. You just happened to find someone you connected with through church, and
definitely.
that led to
Like if you're wanting to get into, like we mentioned, real estate, go to some real estate conventions and ask people like how you can help them out and get coffee for them, or if you want to be a lawyer, go talk to some lawyers and say, hey, how can I help you out? Because finding it's all it comes down to. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So if you can find those people if you can find the who, you'll be ahead of the curve way better than most people. So that's the advice I'd give myself too.
cool. So I want to pivot into some rapid fire questions and we'll wrap it up. All right. So what is the best investment you've ever made?
I would say the camera that I bought, the $3,000 camera that I thought was huge when I was getting not much money, and it's created more money for me in the past, and more value for other people in the past 3 years than I could have ever thought. So that and myself, I think I've learned more out of college in the first 2 years out of college than I ever did the 4 years in college. They tell you what to learn in college. So I would say myself, like the education, like I'm always trying to learn about something new, whether it be money or how money can work for me, and investing in businesses and stuff. So I would say myself and the camera that I bought.
That camera was kind of investment in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your tool, basically.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, dumbest money mistake you've ever made?
Dumbest? I would say not building up my credit while I was young, thinking that it was evil. If you don't have credit, you're gonna have to go through a bunch of hoops to get an apartment, to get a house, to get anything. So I would say that.
Okay. Most frivolous way you've ever spent your money?
I was thinking about this. We didn't have an office when we first started, and we would meet at Starbucks every day, and I'd get $8 cups of coffee every day. So that was like, I'd look at my bank statement and be like, holy crap, man, we're not making any money, man, because we're spending like $300 a month on coffee. So I would say that, and then I went into the Ether and Bitcoin whole rabbit hole like a year ago.
Okay.
I put some money into that, and it's obviously tanked from then on out. So I would say that.
Okay.
And I think you told me a long time ago. I was like, dude, when I hear these people on Facebook talking about Bitcoin, it's too late to invest in. I was but maybe it'll go up, and it never did.
Cool. So what's the biggest challenge you think is facing everyday Americans when it comes to finances?
The biggest challenge? I think it's education about it, and it scares people. I know some of my friends and people that I'm close to that they don't even like to look at their bank account, or they don't like to look at anything financially because it scares them. Numbers scare them, especially when it's you own those numbers basically. So why should it scare you? I would say education and not knowing about how your money can work for you rather than you working for money. It's that shift. And taxes, man. Nobody knows.
Taxes. You got to pay those.
I think I saw something the other day. It was they tax what you get in your paycheck, and then what's left over, you pay for your food, and they tax that. And then from what's left over from that, you pay for a car, and they tax that. And then from what's left over, you pay for your house, and they tax that. And then you die, and the death tax. They tax that. Dude. It's if you could break down how much the government takes from you, it would freak anyone out.
It adds up. Cool. And then you kind of answered this already, but advice you'd give your 14-year-old self about money?
Save, knowing that what is cool now is not going to be cool in 5 years. Don't spend it on just crap. But I watch I watch Shark Tank religiously, and I see 14-year-olds and like 12-year-olds on there that are like sound is all get out, and it's like if I was like him when I was 14, I wonder what I'd be, you know? So I feel like maybe the culture's changing.
Anything you want to tell the audience?
Just because you got out of college doesn't mean your education stops. Like I said earlier, I learned so much more, maybe about life and like how life and finances and everything works after college. Because you're kind of in a bubble in college. I'm so happy that you're doing this whole thing because, I mean, you see it all over the places. Like people, they think talking about money is taboo, and I don't think it should be like that. Like in huge corporations, they tell you not to talk about your salary and stuff. And I'm thinking, like, why? And am I making someone feel bad? Like,
who does that benefit?
Exactly.
By not talking about it?
It doesn't benefit the employees.
No.
Yeah. So if you're actually conscious about doing what's best for your, the employees, like make it universal to talk about money, and then like what you're doing, make it less taboo and get other people talking about it to like start the wave. Because then new ideas come in and people aren't scared to talk about their troubles and the good things they did with money. So
I think what sticks out is the people that are afraid to like look at their bank account. It doesn't change your situation.
Yeah.
It's just whether you choose to ignore it or not. And I think we as a society have caused that, where it's like the way you're advertised, maybe you feel like you've got to keep up a certain lifestyle, or because, my friend bought a bottle at the club, I got to go buy a bottle at the club. But you don't, and not looking at your finances doesn't change your picture. It just doesn't give you you just don't have the information to either be happy with where you are or change it or do anything like that. So
yeah, that's so true.
But cool. Where can people find more about Cory and Brighteous?
Our Brighteous Media, we got a website, brighteousmedia.com. I mean, we're all over Facebook. We're trying to get better with the social media. Yeah, I need to focus more on marketing ourselves rather than marketing other people, but it's hard to do the switch there. But website, our email's on there, and if you're looking for marketing real estate, if you're looking for marketing tourism in your town, give us a call or email us, and we'd be happy to get you going on some marketing videos. Yeah.
Or if you're interested in dabbling, and obviously it looks like Brighteous is trying to expand the team, so reach out for help join the community.
Exactly. You're creative or just want a side hustle? Call me. We're always looking for creative people. Take us out.
Thanks for joining me, Cory Johnston, in the books.
I hope I set the bar like middle tier so we can go up.
Nah, set it high, and then you just have to keep trying to bang it out.
Trying to hit it higher.
10x it, right? So
cool. Well, have fun with that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, brother.
Yeah, man.
This was fun.
Glad we did this.
Yeah, me too.
It was good stuff.
That concludes this episode of the Silicon Alley podcast. You just heard from Cory Johnston, the CEO and founder of Brighteous Media, BRIGHTEOUS. Thanks so much for joining. Again, I'm your host, William Glass, and please make sure that you subscribe. Have a good one.
You got no time to waste, but still you hesitate. Caught in a circle saying, I'll never leave this place. Some words got you searching for the bright side over and over until you're looking on the inside. One life, there's a feeling that you can't find. Holding a hole and only keep you on the outside.
Shout out to Brett Miller for providing his song Million Voices as the theme music for this podcast. A special thanks to Carolina Gankars for help editing. And always thank you to everyone who supports the podcast, and to you. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. Thanks so much. This is a Financial Glass production. Here's a sneak peek into next week's episode.
I think I was more scared to tell them this than coming out from the closet. They were so set on me going down a different path. So I just told my stepdad, he's basically dad. I was like, yeah, I want to be a pilot. Like, that's all I ever wanted.
New episodes every Friday.